I want to know what it's like to feel a part of history. I want to know what it's like to not be dragged across the seas from the land of milk and honey. I want to know what it's like to not be treated like chattel or less than an animal. I want to know what it's like to not know what it's like to be brutally beaten and raped. I want to know what it's like to not birth children who will become your slaves. I want to know what it's like to be completely freed since 1863, to not stand in the southern sun and pick your cotton for free, to not be Jim Crowed into the white man's history, to not be hung over white oak southern trees. I want to know what it's like to not be held down by the white man's bigotry, to not be feared because I am the representation of strength throughout history, to not be oppressed in every single community, whether I am gay, straight, woman, man, or minority. I want to know what it's like to not be refused service because I am as black as can be, to not be refused the right to vote because a white man said it be, to not have to fight for the God-given right of equality. I want to know what it's like to not be a threat because I am Malcolm X, wanting nothing more than to see the black community become all it could be. I want to know what it's like to not have Black Wall Street be bombed because my community is thriving, to not be hosed down for nonviolent fighting, to not be beaten over the Edmund Pettus Bridge in 1940 for marching. I want to know what it's like to finally become that little black boy or black girl in Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, to be the reason why Rosa Parks sat in her seat, or the reason why Harriet Tubman led so many slaves to safety. I want to know what it's like to have a voice in art and not be gunned down like Tupac and Biggie, to not be harassed by the police like NWA, to not be profiled because of the color of my skin. I want to know what it's like to walk and drive the streets of LA and not feel unsafe that this might be my last day. Not because of the local gangs, but the people who swore to serve and protect America's modern KKK. I want to know what it's like to not be Trayvon Martin shot dead, only packing a bag of Skittles and an iced tea, to not be Mike Brown lying dead in the street, to not be Eric Gardner screaming, "I can't breathe," to not be Alton Sterling or Sandra Bland brutalized and killed by the police, to live in this quote-unquote land of the free. I want to know what it's like to not be put under the jail because I'm not pale, to not have my past define me because I am not who I used to be, to receive the option of clinical insanity and not the punishment of the penitentiary. I want to know what it's like for the news to tell my story, to not have to worry that my image will be tainted, a new image created so that my race may be hated. I want to know what it's like to strive economically and not be stopped by the white man's authority. I want to know what it's like to have the amendments mean something to me, to have the law shelter and protect me. Honestly, I want to know what it's like to be treated like a human being in 2016.